Hey everybody, welcome to the Side of Sauce podcast, a podcast where we talk and sometimes you listen. And today is kind of a different episode because we only got one other person here today with me. If
Hello.
you yeah, a returning one too. So we got David here again with us. We were supposed to have Will, but Will is currently outside in my parking lot with his unconscious body strapped to an RC car doing donuts right now. So I'm just gonna let him do that. But yeah, so today it was a very weird day because I feel like a lot of things have been happening, but also not a lot of things have been happening in the world recently. So,
Right, like it's like things are trying to calm down and come back to a quote unquote normal, but
yeah.
it's not really getting there. Not really a thing.
Yeah, so like the first housekeeping thing I want to get out of the way is we didn't have an episode last week. My bad. I kind of was just lazy. I was like, I could take a week off. I did this 3 times in a row. Yeah, so I might try to do this on a weekly basis now. Uh, Probably won't happen for at least a couple weeks if that's the plan, but that might be a thing. So I'll let everyone know, keep everyone updated when that happens. But I
All
think
the
something,
social media.
yeah, on the social media. But one thing that actually did happen recently, I thought was very interesting to talk about, is I've been to a movie theater for the first time for like a year,
Oh
and
my
is a
gosh.
it's so I forgot about movie theater magic, to be honest, because
I can't ever forget about movie theater magic. Like
like
as soon as they closed, my heart really
yeah,
sunk. And as soon as they opened up again, I was like, I really want to go, but at the same time, I really don't.
I would only recommend going if you're fully vaccinated.
Yeah,
Like
I agree.
yeah, just be responsible, safe. Always make sure you have your mask too. Very important. Because like, just don't go into like a building without your mask. I hate saying that so much. I work in like, I work at like retail, so I see it all the time, and I just don't get it. But I went to go see, I guess I went to go see that new Conjuring movie.
Really?
Yeah, the devil made me do it, and movie theater magic is special because it can make you watch a not good movie, but you still have a really good time.
I was gonna ask what you thought of it because I watched it, I streamed it on HBO,
Yeah, like
and it was fine.
yeah, it was fine. I think I enjoyed it the most out of the Conjuring movies I've seen.
Wow. Okay.
Because I've seen Annabelle, I've seen The Nun, I've seen both
Yeah,
Annabelles. Yeah, I've seen both Annabelles.
I feel like both of those were like pretty bad in comparison to the first Conjuring, though. Like the first Conjuring had so much atmospheric horror that I felt like it was such an organic and really good horror movie that
I'm trying.
it really tried to strike lightning
You
again
might be
with all
right.
the other ones.
You might be right because I'm trying to think about like the original Conjuring, but like nothing is popping up in my mind.
The house and the clap clap.
Oh,
Mm.
wait.
Oh
Yeah,
God, the
yeah,
clap
okay.
clap.
Yeah, okay. Never mind.
The the matches in the dark. Like, oh
Okay, yeah.
goodness.
Yeah, now I remember.
It was so much like because like they're tropes. I think it's pretty fair to say like the using a box of matches for a light source, like pretty much anything is gonna make a better light source than a match. Like I'm sorry, movies, but like people don't just for one keep matches in their kitchen, and for another like flashlights are something that people have
Like everybody
and
has
they
a
had in
phone.
the 70s. Like
Oh wait, yeah. Yeah, in the 70s like you definitely had way more than just like a box of matches. You had like probably a flashlight. Like
that's
even
another thing.
some people probably had like one of those lamps too.
Right, right.
Like the even ones you could carry around. Like a disheveled old man in like a graveyard. You
The
could still
Scooby
use
Doo
that.
lantern,
Yeah, exactly.
the Legend of Zelda lantern.
And then like
Yeah. The ghost just runs away. I'm not fucking with Link, bro.
I listen, if Link had a lamp that could wear off ghosts, I wouldn't fuck with him either. I don't want to know what that lamp does. But yeah, these Conjuring movies are like they're definitely designed with like modern horror in mind, and I feel kind of weird. I
Mm.
always hate being like making the distinction between old horror and new horror, and being like,
Mm.
ah, old horror is better. But like it is true.
It's interesting. I don't know if it's better per se because like
It's definitely built for two different audiences, and yeah,
right, the intentions behind them are very different because like what scared people is very different. You
and
know, I
when
mean, as the world got darker and people started to communicate more about the world, people realized that I mean, there are much more important things to worry about than like,
yeah,
monsters and vampires and things like that. And that's why like movies like Hush, where like, a deaf girl and a home intruder, like that's a horrifying sequence. Like,
yeah,
why A Quiet Place is a revolutionary new horror movie because like it's silent.
that's
It's not just about the jump scares anymore. It's not just about how thrilling you can get the audience's heart pace up to. It's about creating an atmosphere that really chills people.
yeah, and like when people reflect on old horror movies, they only look at the good ones,
Mm,
or what are perceived as the good ones, like Nightmare on Elm Street, Friday the 13th, Halloween, like those kind of movies. Those are like the movies everyone
right.
reflects on, and nobody takes the moment to reflect on like Leprechaun. Nobody's looking at
Oof.
Leprechaun.
Oof. Oof.
Nobody's looking at
What
the
a
6 different Leprechaun movies there are.
what a terrifying visual. Like it was all in that wrinkled little
That
midget
the
face. Like,
little
oh my
gremlin.
goodness. Oh my God.
If
Like
I
that's the
was,
only thing really scary about those movies.
I think I'd be more okay if I saw like Jason Voorhees walking up to me than if I saw a small gremlin wearing like 1800s clothes.
Yeah. I was watching Friday the 13th, like the first one, the
Yeah,
Kevin Bacon one with my girlfriend, and she was very confused. She was like, they're just not confused. They're not like afraid of just some person running around this camp. Like they're fine with this. They're fine with just some random person like stopping them in the middle of the road and warning them. And I'm like, it was a different time,
yeah,
I
different
mean,
times. Like you
like
could
people really interacted differently to one another, but also like, yeah, that's pretty unbelievable.
you could probably ride around in your bike in that time without a helmet on and not get yelled at.
Mm.
Nowadays, it's like I gotta wear my helmet. That's why I don't ride bikes anymore. You gotta wear your
Mm.
helmet, and then you gotta wear these stupid little pads on your elbows and knees. No, I ain't gonna put all that on. I'm just gonna ride around with my bike on. Like if I
Just gonna
crack my
bring
head
it with
open,
my bike on. Just
if
gonna
I
put strap my bike to my back and wheel out.
exactly Autobots roll out. If I crack my head open like a can of soup, like it'd be like that, you know.
Ooh,
The
gotta feed the
image of
birds.
the image of like some old kid walking back home with like his head cracked open like a can of soup.
Oh, oh
Just
my God.
walking up to his mom like, "Hey mom, it was a normal day, just the average stuff." It's
It's,
kind of hilarious.
it's just a flesh wound.
Yeah, just a minor scrape. 'Tis but a scratch, milady. But yeah, it's like I think that's all I really had to say about that Conjuring movie. Because like when I stepped out of the theater and I started to like think about it on the ride home, I was like,
Mm,
the most I really thought about was like, dang, I was in a movie theater again.
mm.
That was the biggest thing about it. And it's kind of unfair to think about that, but like at the same time, it's like that these Conjuring movies, like I don't really feel a whole lot when I watch them, especially like the really really bad ones. They're just kind of funny because these Conjuring movies have like this predictable scare fact, like this scare cycle. Like it gets quiet, or you have like the eerie music. You have the eerie music, and it gets quiet, and then you have to wait a couple seconds, and then something jumps, some like a big noise. And arguably, that's a lot of horror movies, because that's just how the easiest way to scare someone is to
Yeah.
just startle them. And I feel like that's a lot of the Conjuring movies. There are exceptions. There are parts where it's like, oh, that is genuinely scary to like watch this, but like most of the time, it's like I'm not feeling a whole lot.
They always nail it with the cast, though.
Yeah, I do like all the practical effects they have for it though. Like
Oh yeah.
these
Like
Conjuring movies have more practical effects than a lot of them do, and
mm,
that's quite honorable. I'll give them that. That is really nice.
it's very bold.
I'm glad I'm
E-
not looking at a CGI witch chase our CGI main characters.
Right. Each one seems very like uh intuitive to the point where they know what their audience is looking at.
Hmm.
Like the directing I feel like is really really good because it almost feels like it's like a rail car,
Yeah,
like kind of like one of those shooter games where like you're walking or like the dinosaur games you play at like
yeah. Where you
Dave and
play?
Buster's or something like that.
Yeah, those
Like
those are
they're
such.
terrible. They're all terrible, but
They're fun, but they're
they're
not.
kind of fun. They're fun because you're laughing with the person next to you.
You're
And
like,
like that's
ah,
kind of
I just
fun.
shot
Like
this
these
stupid
movies are
velociraptor.
definitely better. They're more scary with people. Like
Hmm.
if you're watching them like with your friends or with your family, like if you go to the theaters like with a group and you're watching this, like I imagine it's a much more thrilling experience.
Hmm.
Um but I agree. I think
I
that they
think,
do sometimes in nailing
I think,
that horror aspect beyond just jump scares and like I don't know. I feel like I said that
I feel like,
they really do a good job of it. But
I feel like if I was going to go back to the theater, and I wanted to watch a movie, I think like the movie I wanted to go back to the theater and watch for the first time again, if I was going back to the theater, was Godzilla versus Kong,
really,
because like that is such a perfect movie to go back to the theater. Like big monsters, I don't have to really think while watching this movie, and it's just fun. Like Godzilla movies are like these Godzilla movies are just designed for like movie theater magic. Like they are enhanced by being in the theater watching them. I don't think they would be like watching them at home is like something else. Well, that's just movies in general. Watching them at home and watching them in the theater are like two different things.
Mm.
Movie theater magic definitely helps enhance some movies, and I feel like for if you're watching those for the first time, it definitely enhances them.
I wasn't alive to watch, and or like I was alive for the last two, I think.
Hmm.
But I wasn't alive to watch Lord of the Rings in theaters.
Yeah,
And my dad took me to watch the Hobbit trilogy in theaters, and I had already read all the books at that point, and I was severely disappointed. But I feel like if I could watch a movie in the theaters for the first time, it would have to be The Lord of the Rings because
yeah,
that's
yeah.
my favorite that's my favorite movie. I
Hmm.
think just of all time besides Whiplash, and it's I it's one of those that's made for the big screen, you know.
Yeah.
It's the sweeping music, the massive amounts of bass, the large sweeping shots where they still got so many people in costumes to just stand around like those movies really had some other kind of magic a part of them. And I think I would want to go see those in theaters.
I think if I had the chance to see any movie for the first time in theaters, it's like The Thing. I don't know if you've ever seen that, or
Ooh.
Aliens. Aliens.
I was about to ask if you meant the second one.
Yeah. I always forget like if the sequel is the sequel is Aliens and the first one is Alien.
Yeah.
I why did you just call it Alien
Those are
2?
such great movies, though. Such
Those
great
the
movies.
first two definitely like so good. Like
Even the ones that are like not as good, like Alien 3 or and oh Resurrection, like
yeah,
it's just not you don't hate it, even in the bad parts.
Alien is like such a good concept for a movie. Like it's like the for me it's my probably textbook definition of fear. That and like the ocean because it
It's
preys upon mystery.
the space,
Yeah.
that was their marketing thing for the first Alien movie. It was in space, no one can hear you scream, and that sold tickets.
I think if you really like Aliens, another movie that I saw was that was basically the underwater version of that is literally called Underwater.
I
I s-
haven't seen that.
yeah, I literally knew nothing about the movie until I was walking up with my friend Johnny and Maddie and Gabe and all them to like go watch it. And Johnny was like, "This movie's really good, and it's like this underwater horror movie." And I was like, "Okay." And
Okay.
I am so interested about what is in the bottom of the ocean, but at the same time, I do not care to see what's at the bottom of the ocean. Because sometimes when you look at creatures from like the bottom of the ocean, you're just like, "Ugh, what kind of devil man child made this? Who who did this to you? Who took a kindergarten drawing of what was supposed to be an animal and made this a demon?
Who hurt you? God? God, why? Why
Why
did
would
you
you
hurt
do
this
this?
poor thing? Why did you make the blobfish? Like, what is the matter with you? What were you thinking?
Were you just on some sick game?
Is this what happens when we make you sad?
Sometimes I think animals are just God's punishment. Like some animals cannot just exist.
God's punishment.
Like they cannot just exist and not be like, haha, I think this would be really funny. like like piranhas. Like if you God was must have been sitting up there and he was like, wouldn't it be funny if like you thought you were gonna go swimming and you just died?
Jeez.
like
See, I think about that, and then I think about like I just imagine he was making the piranhas and was like, "Nah, there's too many fish, so I'm gonna make one that's just kind of an ass."
um,
And when he was thinking about humans not having a good time when they were swimming, he was thinking about those little like amoebas that swim up urethras, like because you won't even know.
you will just that
Die
is that is a that is a
a
terrifying image.
painful, horrible death
I'm
before like you don't even know what's happening. Like, what is the matter with you, God? What? Why?
Isn't there like there's like a fish, like a quillfish or something that has like the poison to kill
Ugh,
like 1,000 men like tenfold over. And it's like
Jesus.
what purpose do you have this for? Like what hurts you the first time it said, "You know what? I want to kill everything that touches me."
What massive thing made evolution like create you, young thing?
Why?
Why so vicious? Why
Why
so violent?
why are you like this?
We can talk about this.
But yeah, like most creatures from the ocean are just they're just on a whole nother level. Like on a comedically like terrifying level. Even
No,
sometimes whales. Like I look at a
I
whale and I'm like, you should not be this big.
you should not be this big. You're too damn big, bud.
Exactly. You are too big to exist. Why? What purpose did you have to grow this big? Like they could swallow you whole and they'd be fine. And
I
that's
completely
terrifying.
understand your infatuation with the ocean though, because
Yeah.
like I've played Subnautica Below Zero. Uh, I watched the Meg in theaters because it was just
Mhm.
the ocean movie that year.
Yeah, it's a
Like
shark movie.
60% of my Disney Plus is the or watch list is the National Geographic ocean stuff.
Dude, I had no idea Disney even owned Nat Geo Wild until the Disney Plus trailer came out.
Really?
Yeah, I did not know that. I felt so stupid for not knowing that.
I gotta be honest, like for a long time I thought they were PBS, and then like when I was talking to somebody, I was like, man, what the hell does Disney own? And then we found out that it was basically everything.
Yeah, Disney basically owns everything, which is kind of scary.
Right.
They own The
Did you watch
Simpsons.
Loki?
Oh yeah, I did. I guess good segue.
It was I'm sorry, yeah, just Disney.
Yeah, I wasn't even thinking about that. But Loki, I watched that last night.
It
That
was
was it was I think out of all the Disney Plus shows in their first episodes, I think it is definitely probably the weakest. It just didn't capture me like those other two. Like Wanda's kind of different because it had the first two episodes come out, but if I'm only going to judge it by the first episode,
it
that one
feels
was
like a lot of response to fan stuff.
mhm.
Like them acknowledging that the Infinity Stones are not the most powerful thing in the universe, but then like they still like kind of mess with that by like Loki being flabbergasted. You know, are you the most powerful things in the universe? Like, okay, all right, calm down. Just
And then I don't know.
you're the only people who don't know this.
And it just feels kind of weird that like I get why we haven't been introduced to them until now, but like it still feels weird to just get them now.
Mm.
Like it's also another thing that I know people are going to hate me for is just after Avengers, I have not really liked Loki as a character. I think he has a fun performance. Like
I didn't
Tom
like
Hiddleston.
Thor: Dark World. as a movie.
I
I
don't like
liked the brother stuff in it,
I don't like Thor: The Dark
surprisingly.
World.
But
I he was in Thor Ragnarok, but
I liked him in that.
I
I
liked him.
liked the
Yeah,
character in that. It seemed more mischievous than it had been.
yeah. Like that seemed natural. Like if he was gonna remain, like okay, and then he dies in Infinity War, and I was like, okay, so this character he finally has like a conclusion. Like he's finally like done, and then in Endgame he just comes back, and I'm like,
See,
oh my goodness.
I remember as soon as that happened, I remember talking to William and being like, "No, he's not going to be dead. They're going to bring it back.
Yeah,
They depend on him too much." I feel like the MCU just depends on him too much. Like they overuse him and then underuse him. They don't give him enough character, but then they make him
they want the clout without having,
the guy.
yeah, without
Yeah, they're clout chasing. Mm.
they want that Loki clout, but they can't have it.
Like is Loki the most clout that you need to be running after right now? Like I don't think so.
I don't know. I just don't think he has room for like a whole lot of like, even in terms of his character. I don't think there's a whole lot of like things that Loki has left to do that we haven't already explored in the MCU to at least a certain degree. Because with the Loki show, he's like, "Oh no, I'm actually like I don't like hurting people. I'm just misunderstood," which is like something I think we've already been through with like Ragnarok and him talking to Thor.
Right, and I think I think they're gonna take I wonder if this is gonna be the response to everybody wanting them to either make a joke or not make a joke out of Thor getting mental health
Oh yeah.
or mental help, and I think that this is their Loki is gonna find some peace with himself. I don't see the point with the time police though. I don't
Yeah.
like Owen Wilson isn't enough for me to just be happy just watching it, you know?
Yeah.
And
Obviously,
that's a lot because I really like Wow Man.
and I'm obviously not gonna like dismiss this show because the first episode isn't the greatest thing ever. But like, I'm
Pilots are
just
hard.
yeah. Your first impression is probably the most important impression when it comes to like a TV show, movie, or even just being a person. Your first impression is always important, and this first
Mm.
impression is just not sticking for me. But
I'm probably still gonna watch the
yeah,
rest of it though,
exactly.
I'll be honest with you.
I'm still
Like
gonna watch it. Like, I got that
right,
Disney Plus subscription for a reason. I better use it.
right. I mean
What else is
I'm
coming out?
still gonna watch Black Widow. I
Yeah,
mean,
still gonna watch Black Widow. I'm still gonna watch The Bad Batch. I don't know if you've been
yeah.
watching that. The Bad Batch is pretty good.
I watched the first episode.
Hmm.
Um
First episode was like what 50 minutes. That was crazy.
yeah, it wasn't a lot but it was still a lot to chew on.
Hmm.
Um I
Like
don't know. I'm kind of burnt out on Star Wars.
I understand that. Yeah, I definitely get through like phases where I'm like, okay, I need to take a break from Star Wars, or I need to take a break from Marvel and DC and like take a step back, do something else, and I'll come back in like a week or two.
Right.
Like I think after Far From Home, I was like, okay, I need to take like a break from the MCU for a bit. So I'm kind of glad that we got like all those delays from all the stuff. Give it more time
Right.
to breathe.
I remember a lot of people being upset, but
Yeah,
uh,
like gives you more time to breathe. Gives you like all that time. So like
time
now
to
we're
digest things, like
Mhm.
time to actually watch and enjoy things.
Yeah.
Like I feel like we got spoiled a little bit with the way that streaming happened during quarantine.
Hmm.
Like everything just sort of released really quickly, one after the other, and everything was really like spoon fed. While everything that we were clamoring for beforehand, like everything that got delayed, was heartbreaking for everyone. You know, they were like, "Well, what do you mean we're not going to be able to get this? What do we do? This is 2022. What?" And like, it's fine. It's gonna be fine.
We're
Like,
gonna
you're
get
gonna
it.
get your movies. Like,
Like
television still exists.
it's not dead. You still have a bunch of other movies you need to watch to catch up on. Like that was my thing. I was like, oh, that means I can finally watch these other things I've been meaning to watch. But there's still
I
things I have to
remember
catch
us
up on.
talking about that,
Yeah,
being like, we all have lives. Like, how are we gonna watch this huge MCU lineup and also anything else? Like,
yeah. So like, I gotta catch up on like a bunch of things. I still have like a couple of shows that I want to watch, a couple of movies I need to watch.
mm,
I still have like out of
I
like
still need to watch Army of the Dead.
oh yeah, Army of the Dead. That was thankfully I watched that when I did. That's a good movie. I like that movie. I'm not gonna
Yeah,
spoil it because you haven't seen it, but like that's a good movie. I
good.
I think it's Zack Snyder after hitting after the Snyder cut is like him keeping the ball rolling. And then
Proud of him.
yeah, proud of him. That's my man. I'd kiss him. Henry Cavill too. Henry Cavill is like he's not in Army of the Dead, but when I think of the Snyder cut, I think of Henry Cavill. Like I've been obsessed with this man for like the past 2 days.
Really?
Yeah, like I've just been like, wow, he's so cool.
There's a lot to obsess over. Yeah, he's really cool.
Like he made his own PC. He's like a genuinely good person. He makes his own little Warhammer figures and he paints them and like this man's just so cool and so like
Really cute and nerdy man
I
who's
know,
just
right?
swollen,
Like
chinned up.
listen, I I know it's Pride Month, but I'm not gay. But I would viciously make out with that man.
Openly bi, and if Henry Cavill came up to me and was like, "I would like your number,"
Yeah,
I'm just going home with him. Like
yeah.
he can't get my number because I don't want him to not call me. I'm going home with this man.
I would have to tell my girlfriend sorry.
So
Even
you'd
if she was
understand.
I'd be like,
Like I'm
listen, it's Henry Cavill. Like, come on. I gotta.
be the
You
phone
would. You
call.
wouldn't.
I'm sorry, but it's Henry Cavill. I'll be back later.
Speaking of which,
I'll try to be back later.
Henry Cavill, if you want to be on the podcast, please text me. Bye. Please, dude, that'd be so cool. Because I've always think about that. Like, I've seen like other podcasts with like big names to them, and it's like that would be dope. Like, obviously, like I don't even know what the name of his podcast is, but Joe Rogan, like famous podcaster, he has like all these different like celebrities on there. Like, that seems so cool. You just get to chill and hang out with celebrities all day. But
Right.
there's
I would
like,
just.
yeah, there's also
I
something
think.
different, like
What was
hanging
that?
out with the boys and like
Mm.
just doing like that, like how this is, like how this show is. I think that's there's definitely that. What were you
There's
about to
something
say?
comfortable
Yeah,
with the stakes being low. It being your friends or the boys, but there's a little bit more pressure when it's somebody famous or a quote unquote celebrity.
yeah,
Because I mean, you feel like their time is more valuable. But
yeah.
meanwhile, like I mean, everybody's time is valuable, and I think that's just something that everybody needs to
I would
to
have
think
to make
about
yeah,
when.
because if Henry Cavill is on the podcast, I have to make sure my voice sounds good. I have to make sure my voice sounds like a little devious, a little smooth talking.
Do you watch any of those like GQ interviews where they like interview like actors or like people like that people and then they it's more about like people's careers.
Oh yeah, I've seen clips of it. I haven't seen like a full thing of it, but I've like definitely seen like clips of like the funny interactions that they have with it.
I really like the ones they do with actors about like the beginnings of their career and stuff like that because like I would love to pick some people's brains about just
Yeah,
their careers and
like
how it's unfolded for them, their passion, how it's changed.
how their passion drives them and stuff like that. That'd be so cool. If I had like a director, any like a director on this podcast, like I would definitely like dissect him and be like, listen, this is about to be like you a frog, and I don't know what I'm doing in a science class. We're just gonna work together with this, okay? And just like understand how like they make their stuff and how their passion drives them. Because that's something I would love to learn is how to like keep yourself motivated with the stuff you love,
Mm.
which is something sometimes I struggle with because like I said earlier, I was lazy and I didn't do an episode. But like I do have like a love and passion for like doing this kind of stuff, which is why I do it. Like editing, like making like videos and editing. Like I've tried this before and like I kind of understand it, but like have like that passion to keep doing it is like something else. Like sometimes I even feel like I don't even have like the not the I guess passion to like do my actual job to like keep doing that sometimes. If that makes sense. I don't know.
I think so. I think
Yeah.
sometimes like when you find yourself caught between two things like that, when it's something like talking for fun, it can be difficult when you have to put in more effort into it. Especially when, you have to pay for your bills and things like that. But I think that what always helps is whether or not you love it.
Yeah.
I think that it helps to
I
to know that you get something out of it because it's never like I feel like it's silly to say that like anybody who like streams games or whatever like they're doing it for the because they love gaming and that's it like I mean they're doing it because they want to share it with people they're
mhm,
trying to get some viewers and
make some dope.
hopefully yeah make something cool and hopefully maybe possibly even make some money off of it like who the
Yeah.
hell wouldn't want to make some money off of something that they love like
I think
that's
it's
something silly
I think
to
it's so
not
weird.
want
I think it's
goals or
yeah.
to not have aspirations about the things that you love is dangerous because I think that it makes it easy to give up on them.
Yeah. I find it weird
Like,
when people criticize like creators or content makers or people like that, and they're like, "Well, they're obviously only doing this because they want money." Like, no shit.
right, yeah, like it'd be cool to get a check for talking.
Like,
Like, it'd be
like,
cool to say Henry Cavill be on the show, and then Henry Cavill get that message and be like, "Yeah, okay, well, let's make something happen."
yeah.
Because who wouldn't want to talk to Henry Cavill? Like, I'm sorry, but like,
Like, who doesn't want to
yeah,
talk to
if
Superman?
to
Are you telling me if
Geralt of Rivia, like, oh my God, this man.
you telling me you wouldn't want to talk to about the man from The Witcher, Superman, even? Like nobody would
Mustache
nobody would
Superman, like,
you would
come on.
like even if you don't like Superman, you wouldn't pass up talking to Superman. Who else are you gonna talk to? Your
I
mama?
gotta be honest though, you're the only Boy Scout that I'm like here for. Superman does piss me off.
Superman, like, yeah, Superman sometimes like, come on.
It's just he bothers me. He's too powerful sometimes, and other times he's just
Superman is
useless and helpless, and like
Superman
needs
is one of those
somebody
weird,
like
yeah.
Batman to come and pick his ass up. And it's like,
Superman is
oh
one of
come
those weird
on.
characters where like I feel like the premise is really simple, and
Mm.
that's what makes him super difficult to write. Like
Yeah,
most writers don't it feels weird to say this out loud, but most writers don't really understand how to make Superman an appealing character, which is probably the hardest part.
which
To,
is weird because he should be a super appealing character. Like he's an alien, so like sure, there's a barrier there that you might like a writing barrier where like how does this person going to think about our planet? But he's also grown up here, so
like
he has such a passion for the human race. So it should be really easy to write an authentic
Superman. Like
right, like a Superman that makes people feel good.
I feel like people have just come upon this train where it's like Superman. Yeah, he's such a lame guy. Like, who would like Superman? That's so lame. Like, Superman has just, in the past, I would want to say like 30 to 50 years, have gotten like this shade about being like the most boring superhero because he can do whatever. Like, he's like super strong and like the most powerful one. So it makes it lame by almost default, which I think is a silly concept. So,
Did you watch Invincible like all
yeah.
the way through?
Yeah, I've seen Invincible all the way through.
It is too good. Like as soon as I saw that it was starring J.K. Simmons, I was there.
Yeah,
Like
Invincible is like way better than it has any right to be.
the cast list is ridiculous. The animation is amazing. Like if you loved something like X-Men Evolution or any cartoon even remotely similar to that,
Hmm.
this is it's gonna blow your mind away
And,
because it's so different.
it's like it's one of those times where we've had like the evil Superman trope, and I feel like it's in an organic and natural way, and not
Right.
forcefully hand-fisted. The only other show I can really say that about is like The Boys. Like Homelander and
Yeah.
Omni Man both feel like natural fits to be the evil Superman.
Right. And I love that I was about to say that Homelander is such a good parallel for the Superman that we unfortunately get to see in cinema, in
Hmm.
cinema, and as well as what Omni Man portrays, because I feel like Omni Man is literally the Dark Superman that we see. It's the one who is an outsider, who's not an Earth or not a human, and sees us as something that appropriates war and death and violence and bad things and needs to be kept in line and check. And that's scary. That's incredibly scary. Something of that much power that's able to judge us on a level that isn't us is absolutely humbling and terrifying.
Yeah, definitely. Like,
But Homelander's
I think
the exact
Homeland.
opposite,
Yeah,
because he's engineered to be evil, because I mean we humans were terrible to him.
yeah.
Terrible. I
Like
love the boys universe.
Homelander and Omni Man are definitely like two different takes on the evil Superman trope, but like
Mm.
both are executed probably almost pitch perfect. To be
Better than
honest,
any actual evil Superman trope I've
like
seen.
yeah, like better than like even like I don't know how much flack I'll get for this, but like even than like the Injustice video games, comics, and apparently now movie that we're gonna get sometime. I feel like it's
Oh,
even done
really?
better than literally actual evil Superman. Yeah, we're supposed to get like an animated one, which I think is actually pretty neat.
Okay. Okay. So if they're gonna do it, they're gonna do it the way it should be done. Like, I'm
Yeah.
sorry, but DC's animated films are so much better than their live action ones, and that's just because of
If I
studio meddling.
if I had it my way and I could go back in time and change something about these superhero movies, is I would make all of them animated movies. And I
Mm.
don't know how controversial that's going to be because listen, I think animation is like this really weird spot right now where like some people feel like they're too good for it and other people understand that this is a form of art. Like animation isn't just like used for kids films. I feel like that's a weird awful garbage take
Mm.
that a lot of mainstream people have. Because like Into the Spider Verse is easily probably one of, if not the best comic book movies of all time.
I think so. I mean, it's easily. I really
Easily
think
top
in my
three.
head it ranks like this in terms of authentic comic book movie. In the Spider-Verse, because it literally is a comic book. I'm sorry, but if you watch it, it just reads like you're flipping pages.
I can't understand any point of view where it's like this movie is anywhere close to being okay or just good or even bad. Like that's just garbage.
Deadpool
Yeah,
was
Deadpool.
a super close comic book movie.
It
Like
really was.
I felt like Ryan Reynolds was portraying something that was from a page, and that was interesting.
But I
It
would
was very interesting to see.
Ryan Reynolds was different because it wasn't necessarily because of the movie itself. I feel like, but it was more because of Ryan Reynolds' passion for the character.
The self-aware tones,
Yeah.
yeah, the holding Deadpool on his back. Like, I feel like that movie was going to live or die, and Ryan Reynolds was willing to live or die
Oh
with
yeah,
it,
definitely.
and he was just fighting to live.
Deadpool is definitely one of those movies where it's like you either float or you sink. There's no in
Mm,
between. Like you're not going
mm.
to be like halfway from drowning. You're going to be
Unfortunately, they're coming out with a third one.
you're either going to be swimming to shore or you're going to be sinking down to the bottom of God's rejected animals.
Jeez.
I'm sorry, but sometimes I look at them and I can't respect them as animals. Like those giant squids that sperm whales go down there to eat. I can't respect that. I can't respect that they exist. Did you hear? So apparently, this is super off track, but like, so there's this study that came out recently, and they're like, octopus may not even be 100% from this Earth, or is like, they might, cause like something about how like an asteroid hit the Earth, and that had like it might have had like alien DNA or like species on it or something like that, something
Bro,
crazy,
that's
and like,
so baller. Because you know how much like DNA we share with a banana?
yeah, a stupid amount.
Like a stupid amount. Like,
it like
so like how much DNA do we share with an octopus? How much alien are we?
because like
How alien is an
yeah,
octopus?
because when they were studying like DNA from an octopus, they were like, "Yo, dude, this is not 100% from this Earth.
Shit
This
don't add up.
this This is not from our house. This is the neighbor's cat.
It's not our house, yo. This is from the other people's backyard.
This
The
cat does not
neighbor
belong to
kids
us.
playing in our oceans. We're not having it.
But like, yeah, definitely if I was a betting man, octopus are easily not even close to being from Earth. Have you
I
seen an
mean, they're so
octopus?
smart.
They're
Like they're so
they're
smart. Like
scarily smart, and the
they
fact that they
just.
can fit in like a hole the size of like a quarter.
You ever seen an octopus punch a shark? Because dolphins do the same thing.
Oh yeah, they do. Dolphins are
They
like
just will straight up punch them for no
dolphins are
reason other than
demons.
spite. Like I know, right? They're so amazing. They just like get in circles, pass around a pufferfish, and like they go
It
have
is
sex, and they just go
dolphins.
punch sharks. It's like
Dolphins just bully
oceanic
sharks.
GTA out in the
Yeah,
ocean.
they just bully sharks, and sometimes I feel bad for that shark.
Like I want to come back as a shark when I die. I mean, as a dolphin, son of a gun.
Like a
Like
definitely not a
I want to
shark
go get
because
punched by a dolphin. Yeah.
could you imagine being like the apex predator and being punched by a dolphin?
You've just spent millennia becoming the perfect predator, and you just get all you spend your entire day eating and getting punched by lesser fish.
The image of like an octopus punching someone is way funnier though. Have you
Oh
ever
yeah, like
that
curl up and just whip that freaking arm out. It's wild.
it could be like some weird anime JoJo thing where they have like 8 different punches all going at the same time. Like crazy things. That reminds me of like the old wrestling. Like there used to be an old sport like in the 1900s where they like would wrestle octopus and squid to shore.
Oh my gosh, that sounds terrible though, because I loved that cartoon with the octopus with the boxing gloves,
Hmm.
because that felt so right. It was just like, yes, you should be a boxer. You're an absolute beast in the ring, I bet. Like nobody can even see what they're punching. They're just getting hit. But like
I feel like octopus are like
the reality of just a bunch of dudes standing around a barrel and the barrel having just an octopus on it and they're just like boxing it, like that's terrifying. That's just animal abuse. Like
the thought of like an like when you think about how smart an octopus is, they're like really smart. I think they're really like up there with like the top 5 smartest animals. So are dolphins, but dolphins are demons. Like an octopus, I feel like an octopus is smart enough to like pick up a weapon and like run around with it, but not really understand what the weapon does. But they just,
the
but they
crab with the knife.
understand. They understand the fact that people are scared of them when they hold it.
Definitely the crab with the knife.
The crab with the knife is a scary image.
That's a
Like
great picture though. I used to send that into a group chat like
I
all the
used
time.
I used to love imagining like the crab holding it and then like him like stiffly throwing it to his other claw and like catching it.
Try me. Make a move. Make the first move, I dare you. You're just tossing it back and forth like a little badass. Come
Yo,
on.
the
Come on.
the
Let's dance.
I want to see like the UFC fight. Like take Mayweather out of
Logan
it.
Paul
Take
versus
take Logan and them Mayweather out and just put a crab with the sword and a regular octopus in the ring.
Jesus.
It's a battle of punching and a sword.
This
What
is just animal abuse. James, don't say that you want to see that.
who wouldn't want to see that? It's like
Me, I don't want to see that. Therefore, it's just, to the FBI, to the CIA, I do not want to see that.
listen, I'm cool, so I want to see it.
Two different FBI agents.
They're both morally conflicted. Do we want to see it or not, sir? I don't know. I kind of want to, but I kind of don't.
Send them the funding.
uh,
Make it
yeah.
happen.
Besides octopus fighting crabs for a living, what were we talking? Invincible. That's what we were talking about.
Invincible, yes.
Invincible
Sandra
is.
Oh, what a great performance. Just what a wonderful Stephen Ewan, just wonderful, absolutely wonderful performances all around.
What do you think of
Every time I am
This is.
hmm,
What do you think of Amber?
Amber.
Mark's girlfriend. This is always an interesting question.
So mm, I don't know.
I feel conflicted about Amber.
I like her as a person, like as a character, because she's very independent. Like
Yeah,
She
I like
really she needs something specific from Mark, and she gets it because she asked for it. Like
like I
she needs she deserves everything.
I feel
What a
really
queen.
bad for Amber. And
Yeah,
I do understand why people dislike her. Like
I don't.
the one scene where she's like, "I know you've been a superhero this whole time, but I don't care." Well, not the whole time. I think for like 3 weeks. I think it was. She knew that Mark was a superhero for like 3 weeks,
Right.
and then she was mad at him for like saving their lives. I
Nah,
think. I think. I think that is like. I think.
it was for
Yeah.
not trusting her though, and like
Yeah.
I get that. I understand both of them though, and that's the thing is that it really did well of showing like it didn't cater to either party. It didn't make either of them seem like 100% the correct one
Hmm.
because they weren't. You know, I mean, it would have been easier, duh, if they'd have just been upfront and honest, but like it would have been more dangerous.
I feel like if they rewrote the scene, like that one specific scene, so it was like she didn't know, but she just didn't care that he was a superhero, and she was like, "Oh, but you haven't been trusting of me and to keep this with me, like to keep this to tell me." I feel like it kind of would have been a little bit better. Well, it would have been perceived better, not that it would have been better by like the
I was
general.
about to say
Yeah,
I'm here like fucking Amber's a queen.
Amber, I do like Amber, and I
What a
really like what she
what a
does.
queen.
Yeah,
Fucking and even fucking Mark just fucking dropped your crown, King. Just come on now.
exactly.
Like you got two great people here. I'm sorry, and that's just the thing is that like I don't know if they're what I want out of the show anyway. Is the two
Hmm.
of them like
I don't even know if it's like what the show is building up to because I think they're gonna build up for something else for season 2 because I haven't read the actual like Invincible comics, so I don't actually know what's gonna happen.
Zachary Quinto was a gift,
Hmm.
just an absolute gift. Pretty much, I feel like every time I see Zachary Quinto on screen, I'm like, or here even. I
Hmm.
guess because of Invincible, like what we're
Yeah,
talking about, but
yeah.
like I feel so grateful. I'm like, thank gosh that somebody in the casting was like, yeah, that
The
one.
the one character I don't like from Invincible, which I don't get why everyone else likes. I'm trying to remember his name. He was Eve's ex-boyfriend.
Rex Blood.
Yeah, Rex Blood. I do not like Rex Blood.
He's an ass.
Yeah, I genuinely would have thought that people would have had more problem with him
Everything that
because he's just an ass for the whole show, and then
like
like
the way he acts around Beast Girl makes me uncomfortable all the time.
yeah,
Like because like she was like, uh, I want to be treated like an adult, and so he basically turns into flirt like
yeah,
around her, and it's like that's not really what being treated like an adult means. Like getting her drunk, giving her alcohol does not mean you're treating her like an adult or respecting her.
yeah. Rex Blood is like not the character that I like. He's just an ass for most of the show, and then like near the end, you see him become like buddy buddy with his team, and I'm like, where was the middle point? What
Right.
happened in between?
And that's the thing is that like I feel like they're with Rex Blood as a character, they're trying to say that you don't have to be a good person to do the job right,
Hmm.
but to be a superhero, you have to do the job right.
Yeah,
Like to actually do this, to work with the team, to accurately be a superhero and participate, you have to pull your own weight and be a good person,
to be and the fact that he got on like that team,
like a quiet person
yeah,
at the very least.
like to be on that team that like robots team was like a
The
kind of
decision.
I out of all the characters, I thought he was actually going to be the one to get like, sorry, buddy, nope.
Right? The entire decision thing. Like, why was duplicate there? Like, it didn't make sense. Like, why was pretty much all of Team Team, which worst name by the way, Team Team.
Teen.
Like,
What a
it was just
stupid name.
oh my god, come on! Like, it was cringe on my ears. Like, I appreciate it, and that's the thing. Another thing I liked about Invincible was that it didn't focus too hard on everybody's name. You know, Mauler twins, but like you
Yeah,
know they don't really care about that. You know, robot.
robot.
Invincible, like Omni Man. Like it's not important. Their names aren't important. It's all about the visuals. It's all about the animation. It's about the character. It's about
Unlike when
the
I watch,
script.
unlike when I watch a Star Wars movie and it feels like the most important thing is their name.
Yeah, and that's not
Side
that's
thing.
fine when you're writing a book.
hmm Star Wars names are the stupidest thing on the planet sometimes.
Skywalker, Solo,
Like,
Calrissian.
like Count Dooku. What? Who Count? More like Count Doo. Like,
Binks.
why? I don't know. Star Wars names confuse me sometimes, but
Jin.
Invincible.
I mean,
There
I
are
said
Jin.
I can't think. I got Qui-Gon. What's his name? Like, I don't know, man. What are you drinking? What's in that glass? Gin. There you go.
Add some Kwai to it.
That's some quiet, yo. Just
Why
don't worry
not?
about it. Why not? Forget it in the morning.
Like George Lucas. George Lucas is on another existence making these names.
Call
Another
me when you
realm.
drink this. Like, literally drinking and eating all the same shit that
There was.
Alice did.
I went to the store and I saw a Star Wars action figure, and I tried to read the name and I gave up.
I gave up.
I gave up. I was like, I cannot perceive this. This is clearly not English.
That's tough.
Like it wasn't even a real name. It looked like they just put a bunch of letters next to each other and said that's her name.
I feel like that's the like anytime like I'll play Battlefront 2 and the
Uh,
planets. I swear
I
sometimes
suck
like
ass at Battlefront.
really
I suck ass at Battlefront, but I really love playing that game. It's so much fun.
it's I find myself consistently like middle to low leaderboard and it's sometimes comforting.
I will admit when I'm ass at a video game, and Battlefront is just one of those games I'm ass at.
I'm like tolerable. I'm not the worst person on the team, and that always makes like that's all I can say about it is that I'm not the worst person on the
Like
team.
when you're not the worst person on the team, it is such a relief.
It yes,
Like at least I'm not the bottom of the barrel. Like whew.
like yeah, just phew.
I remember when I used to play
Thank goodness.
like Overwatch, like when it first came out, and I was like just beginning to play, and I was like, please let me not be the garbage member of this team.
Could be Skywalker underscore OG 420. Nope, not me. I'm
Whew.
sitting there, one of those names that you literally just skip over.
Yeah,
My
gamer
score
gamer
is
tags
so
are
close to two other people.
gamer tags are almost as bad as Star Wars names. Like
They
some,
could be. They
they,
could be the same thing.
yeah, like some of them don't even look like real names or like real things you want to be called. Like,
I was playing Knights of the Old Republic,
mhm,
and that's like largely or it has a large online
yeah,
or no Age of the Old Republic or Old Republic. Which
yeah,
one's the because one of them is entirely online. I was
yeah.
playing that one.
It should be Old Republic. Yeah, yeah. I think
Um,
you're right.
and I spent time making the name for my little Jedi like
hmm
something that like was organic to the universe, and
Yeah.
then like as soon as I'm in the real world, like there's just people running around that are just like penis butt. Like, I'm like, oh, okay. I was just
There's definitely that
I'm
is
overdressed.
there's like two different ways like I name anything. Is like I either have like a name that I like think about for a while and I was like, this sounds good. Yeah, this sounds like a character like I would reasonably want to be in like a film or a TV show or something. And then there's PP Kukukaka.
Yeah, yeah. I just started Link's Awakening,
Yeah.
and
I always
I
find it
named my
funny.
character Kyle.
Yeah, always naming Link is one of the funniest things ever. No, I think one of my favorite parts about gamer tag is like when you get stuck with a gamer tag from when you made it when you were like 10 years old.
Oh my gosh, I hate it. I hate it. That's my that's actually like I need to change my handle on Instagram and things because it's also like my email and stuff. It's so terrible. Batman Beyond, like I hate it. I hate it.
Yeah, like I I thankfully was able to change like a lot of the things that I had my original gamer tag on. Like most people know what it is, but it used to be Pixel Guy because I when I was a kid I was like that sounds cool.
I mean,
Sounds
that's
like
not bad.
that sounds like a superhero. Yeah, it's
This
not.
sounds like a superhero.
Yeah, I
Who's
definitely
gonna save
much
you?
prefer when
Pixel guy.
whatever I'm in now. Yeah, but like there are terrible ones I've seen before, and I obviously don't want to say them here because I don't want to get like anybody, you know, embarrassed. Because there is one that I would love to say, but I'm not gonna say
Just dox my old.
it. Dox them. You guys remember Big Penis Flat Cock and Ball Torture 99 on Xbox Live?
Dear God.
Xbox Live
Somebody's
was
like, that
Xbox Live.
guy's the bane of my existence. He kicked my ass every day in Modern Warfare.
Xbox Live was definitely where all the 10-year-old gamer tags went.
What a terrible place to find yourself.
What do you,
Like
what
while
do
you're gaming is the
you,
Xbox Live voice chat.
Xbox Live voice chat, especially back in like 2010 to like 2010, that kind of time frame. Early 2010s or late 2000s was like such an interesting time to be alive on Xbox Live because every time you could guarantee, like every time you opened it up, somebody was going to insult you. Somebody was going to make you, if you were under the age of like 11, you were going to cry.
Somebody was gonna call you the N-word.
Exactly. Somebody was going to use some racial slur, but you just didn't know. And it was like a game of bingo trying to guess which one.
Like it was gonna come from somewhere. You didn't know who from the lobby it was gonna come from, but you knew
It
at
could be
some
like,
point you
yeah,
were gonna get a headshot
somebody was going to
and get
get
called the
shot.
N-word.
Somebody was going to get shot in like the dick and balls, gonna flap over like in GTA, and somebody's gonna jump on the mic and call you the N word.
I feel like one of the first times my mom was ever like, I don't want you playing that game anymore was when I got a really easy kill like in the beginning of something. Like
Yeah.
I was playing on Nate's like my cousin's Xbox and like I like threw like the tomahawk in the air and it killed somebody like across the map and they were just like, what the, and they just started like they just raged and just like all you heard was just like and just like it was what a nightmare. And she's like, I don't think I want you playing that anymore. And I was like, I'm not the one angry, I'm not the one freaking out.
I think this
Stay
might be a
alone.
negative influence on you, child.
Right, like she's just like, I don't think that this is a healthy environment for you to be expressing yourself in. And I was like, all right, well, I'm gonna go play Doom.
uh, dude, like growing up playing Doom is like
Oh God, you've been spoiled. Like you've been you've act like if you or actually if you played Doom 2 first, then you've been spoiled.
yeah, like
Like
like I remember like my parents being like, "Oh, you can't watch this because it's too violent or like something," and then like secretly I'd play like these violent video games, like like Doom was one of them. I played the original Doom. Though I didn't play Doom 2. I didn't play Doom 2 until like 3 years ago. Yeah, yeah. Mm, which also reminds me, Doom Eternal is so fucking good.
they just keep up to it's a gift that keeps on giving.
It really is. That game has no right to be perfectly made. If I ever had to be like, if there was a perfectly designed video game, Doom Eternal.
I don't know, man. I'm in the middle of Breath of the Wild and I'm kind of infatuated. Like I just recently got my Switch.
Breath of the Wild is really good too.
It's so good. It's so organic. Like every like I was like,
I'm so
you know, I
worried that
wonder
like
if I can like put this flint and wood on the ground and hit it with my sword and melt this huge giant piece of ice. And then I did.
yeah,
And then
like
you just did.
Breath of
It's
the
like, can I
Wild
go
is
there?
like
Yeah.
Breath of the Wild is really is just creativity to explore the video game.
Like I was talking to uh my mother about like the evolution of Legend of Zelda because she grew up playing like the
Hmm.
very first Legend of Zelda and that's so it's something cool that we can share. Like
Yeah.
we're all gonna get a matching tattoo, my brothers and I and my mom, the Triforce.
Ooh, that sounds
Right.
cool.
Right, like it's a nice little tattoo, and there are technically four of us, three brothers and my mom, and so four triangles. Like it just kind of works.
Yeah.
But I was talking to her about it, like the sequel and how like they're gonna like tie everything together and how like they're like really not married to releasing another game. Like they're not married to making Breath of the Wild 2.
Hmm.
Like they're really considering just like expanding, like making another large expansion pass that like is a completely working of the game because they have a huge game engine there that's
Yeah,
so good. Like Breath of the Wild is such a well-built game. And
it's
that's why
so
like
good.
I feel like it's so arguable to say that it's near perfect
Yeah.
because even its glitches are
Like
god tier love.
I can't think of like a single thing other than like maybe like some of the characters in that game. Like if you focus on the story and you like that's one of the
Mm.
reasons you play the game. Like it's like it's whatever.
It's
Like
fine. Yeah,
yeah,
it's
it's
another
fine.
Zelda game.
But in terms of like the actual gameplay is like mwah,
It's
perfect.
incredible.
It's so
Chef's
good.
kiss.
Yeah.
God tier.
And like it kind of worries me for like Breath of the Wild 2 because it's like the only thing they really like need to improve on is like the story. So like,
Mm.
and also is like I know that new Pokemon game. I don't know if you know about it. Pokemon Legends Arceus. That's basically Breath of the Wild in Pokemon. It's not gonna be nearly as good.
Right.
I can
Yeah, I
almost
saw the
yeah
the I think you actually showed me I saw it from you, the
yeah.
like dev like images of the the game engine, and it looks like absolutely breathtaking and like okay, but it is still just Pokemon.
Listen, I love Pokemon, but like I can admit, Pokemon has just been like at this ironically not evolving.
I would kind of love if it was open world like that though.
hmm Like
Like if it was
I
a
think it
Breath of
is.
the
I
World
think yeah.
or Breath of the Wild engine
I
style
really
kind
hope
of.
it's gonna be more open worldy than like than what it of what I'm expecting.
Mm.
Because one thing I've learned from like most video games is like don't have your expectations like astronomically high
Yeah. Yeah.
because they're never
I've played 80 hours in Cyberpunk,
yeah like
and like I've thoroughly enjoyed that game, and it's solely because I wasn't expecting, a flawless game when it came out. Like I'm sorry, but I heard that it was getting rushed. I heard the devs being like, "I'm really sorry for anyone who
I
plays
feel
this
so
soon." And I
bad for
was
those
like,
devs.
right, because it's not their fault. They made a
Yeah,
beautiful game. It's so good. It's
they
so
were
much
trying.
fun.
Yeah, they were trying their hardest to make that game run, but they just could not get it to run on like the PS4 and Xbox One on time. And they just said, "Fuck
Like
it."
I'm sorry. Like, then why release it for them? Like, that's my thing. Is like,
Yeah,
why even port it for these consoles? Like, don't release it for them. Just make it a next gen thing and a PC thing. Like, you're gonna sell so much, and you're gonna sell those consoles.
and those
Nobody's
resource.
gonna get hurt
Oh
with
yeah,
this.
and those resources can go into the actual like those current gen and PC hardware to make it better. Yeah, I played Cyberpunk.
I'm
I played Cyberpunk on
I'm
PS4, and I played.
on
I think
PS4. How was your experience?
it is rough, but I do enjoy the game when I get to play it.
Because oh, that sucks. I've been
Yeah,
playing it on PC, and I had no problems. Like my PC isn't amazing.
yeah. That's
Like, but it runs what I throw at it, and I don't have like my graphics at an insane rate. Like the graphics are all set pretty performance mode. Like,
whenever I get a like I really hope because I'm either gonna get a PlayStation 5 or a PC soon. One of the two.
mm,
Like who knows what I'll get because I'll eventually have both. But like whatever. Probably not a PS5 actually because like that thing is like nowhere to be found.
I was about to say, like,
Where's
which
Waldo?
good
Like
luck.
yeah, where's Waldo looking head ass? But
Snipe stolen.
like if I had like a like yeah, if I had a current gen console, I would definitely be playing that game a whole lot more because I know it would run a whole lot better. It's just I can't like sit down and be like okay, I want to play this video game on this current this old hardware that I know it's not designed for, and I just gotta hope that it doesn't crash every 2 hours.
Right. Like, and that's like it crashed on me one time. And like I said, I have 80 something hours
hmm
on my Steam account for
Yeah,
Cyberpunk, and it crashed on me one time. And that was because I was literally playing it for like 12 hours or something like that. Like
yeah,
I got on like a really long kick of it.
yeah. It's been a whole while since I played something for like 12 hours.
That was probably the last thing I played for that long.
Yeah, I think the longest I played a game for was probably yeah, I probably like Doom Eternal for like I think it was like 9 or 10 hours straight.
Before I graduated high school, I beat Arkham Knight in a day.
That is That is crazy. Isn't that how long is that game?
I didn't 100% it, but I
Yeah.
think that the cutscenes and stuff are about like 9 hours or something like that. I don't know.
Yeah.
I'll Google it.
Yeah. Like there are very few games I could like I think I'm trying to think if I've ever like sat down in like one day beaten a game. That wasn't like at least like 4 hours or something like that. Like a very short game. I think the closest I've ever done is like maybe I've beaten a Pokemon game in like one day, maybe.
Okay, might not have been Arkham Knight. It
Yeah.
was something in the Arkham series because this is saying it takes about 30 hours to beat the campaign for Arkham Knight, which is probably more accurate to
Yeah, that
the
sounds
hours
about
I
right.
have in Arkham Knight. But
And that's just to complete the game, not even till like 100% it.
right, and that's like I just recently 100%ed Arkham Knight.
That's Grace. I couldn't do that. I'm trying to think about. Oh, I think I tried to check. I think I recently. Yeah, I've recently 100% Doom Eternal on the Switch on Nightmare mode. Yeah, I think
I
that
have
took me.
84.6 hours on
I
Arkham
think
Knight
last time I checked, it was like 90 to 80 hours.
for Doom Eternal.
Yeah, which like that's just on the Switch. I have it for PS4 as well.
Jeez.
Listen, that game is so good. I will buy it.
Does it run well on the Switch?
It runs. Yeah, it runs. Yeah, it runs well.
Like okay, so like I said, I recently just bought my Switch, so
Hmm.
I don't have a whole lot of games.
Yeah,
Like I bought Link's Awakening, I bought Breath of the Wild, I bought Super Mario Odyssey. Um,
it runs. It runs well. Like it's
like
not
but
the.
I'm not gonna be buying games like Witcher 3 or like
Yeah,
I have a PC.
like I want to get Witcher 3 for the Switch, but at the same time it's like if I wanted Witcher 3, I'm not going to play it on the Switch.
Right? Why would you play a game like this on a system like this? Why would you play Doom Eternal on your Switch? Like I don't understand the appeal really, I guess.
I get to
Because
go
I
poop and I get to play them. Nah, just my main thing is I it's going to sound stupid, but like
uh,
I don't like playing video games in like my living room and like having other people the potential to come in and watch me
mm,
because
okay.
yeah, I don't like that. Like I
So
like to
you're very much the Switch is a handheld
yeah.
system.
It's very much I want to play video games in my own room and I want to be like I want to do this like unless I invite you into my room to like yeah, like you're and I know you're going to watch me like I just don't like people barging in and be like, "Oh my god, are you playing this video game?" I'm like, "Yeah, I am." I don't know, there's like this weird mental thing where it's like I think I do worse at video games if people just barge in and watch me because I feel the pressure on.
I can understand that. It's definitely like,
Yeah.
I'm being watched and now I have the yips.
Yeah, especially if they understand the fact that you can die in a video game. Like, I hate when
Mm.
people are like, haha, you just died. Like, shut up, I'm gonna bash this controller into your brain.
Link's Awakening is my favorite Zelda game. Like it's like the Game Boy one was
Hmm.
the first Zelda game I ever completed, like start to finish alone. I didn't get help from my brothers, and it's always stuck with me as like my favorite. And that's why Breath of the Wild is breaking my heart because it's like it's making me question whether or not Link's Awakening is my favorite. But at the same time, how gorgeous the little like plastic Switch remake for Link's Awakening is
I
so
know.
cute. But Ayla's also playing Link's Awakening, and I'm like farther than she is. She's so upset about it. She's like, "Oh, I don't know where to go," and I'm like, I don't know what to tell you. I don't even know where you're at. I don't know. You're not telling me anything. I can help you." And she's like, "I want your fucking help," and I'm like, "I'm sorry. I'm really sorry."
Yeah, get away, you fucking nasty. I don't need
It's
you.
like, oh my goodness, there's such a thing about games like that,
We want to
Zelda
know.
games in particular. That's just
You
you
know, it's
can't
the first ever Zelda game I ever beat. Uh, was the original Zelda,
really
the one for the NES. Yeah, I had it on my DS because of the Virtual Console. That
very
was
cool.
that yeah, that was my first one I beat. Mainly because it was like for a while it was the only one I had. But it was a very interesting experience. Cuz that game is like very much designed on like an old school basis, very old,
Yeah,
a very old game design. So like it's very much designed to be like cryptic and like you to sink hundreds of hours in by dying over and over again.
very trial and error.
Yeah, very much so. Very if people have like the time to play the original Zelda, I would definitely recommend it. I think it's even better if you like don't have like a tutorial or a guide at all.
I think it's tough
It is
for games
extreme.
like that because the
Yes.
old Zelda games, there's a question like because like my mom was I was talking to her about how
It is so tough.
accessible
Yeah.
some Zelda games are now, like, and she's like, is it worth playing the older ones? And I'm like, I don't know. That's up to you, really, because they were designed to get kids talking to other kids about games.
Yeah.
Like they were meant to be hard and not explicit. You were meant to talk to
You were
every villager
yeah.
at every time you did something, like
You
just to
were
figure out where the next thing was. And
you
it's
were
like, are you
meant to
kidding
like
me?
you were meant to swing your sword at some random wall and like
Uh,
find a hidden
uh,
pathway and you're like, "Whoa!" and to go to school and
listen
like
to the sound
scream about
effect.
it. Yeah.
Fucking the kid's just like, listen to the sound effect. It makes a different sound if you hit the wall right. And you're like, you stop the swing, like you're swinging on the swing. You just like run your feet
You like
through the dirt. And you're
run.
just
Yeah.
like, you have to hit the wall with your sword, and it sounds different, and that's where you bomb. Stop. And then, like everybody just like it's like whoa, because that one kid is like, yeah, bro, I put the like thing in the owl and he told me, and like the game just like tells you if you really like look for it, and they're like, oh my god, I'm not getting the most out of my games, and Nintendo's like making money
And then there's like
just
and then there's always I kind of glad I didn't grow up in that time period for like those evil kids that would tell you complete bullshit.
oh my god, push the truck and you'll get Mewtwo.
If you use strength on the truck in by the third gym, then you can get Mew. And that was such a stupid lie. But
But
for some
everyone
reason,
believed it.
everyone bought it.
Everyone
It's
was like, no, 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 I think there's something to
yo
that.
yo. This guy might be talking the real
Why else
shit.
is the truck there?
Because it's just
Why are
yeah,
they there
exactly.
then?
Like the truck is like just sitting there for like no other reason, and you're like,
Man,
and in your
please don't
kid
touch
brain,
the
you're like,
gumballs.
obviously,
Obviously, this is this.
just
It's like they're telling me this is the place to go. It's like a
exactly.
sign.
Hmm.
They
Oh,
might as well have written it out for me. I mean, come on.
the, I think another game, like an
13
old
hours
game, I
later.
kind of want to play is like the original Metroid.
Mm.
That seems like a
I
fun game.
settled for the Castlevania collection for the
Oh yeah,
Switch because it's $20 and that's like the first like 7 games. Because I wanted Symphony of the Night.
yeah. That's definitely like
Um
a game series I want to get into is Castlevania after I saw the show.
It's so good. The games have always been something special to me because like I the first one I played was the 3D one
Hmm.
for the N64,
Yeah,
and that one was tough. That one was so hard for no reason. Like they're all really hard for no
yeah,
reason, but like that specifically, the challenge of having to move and look in different ways. The 3D environment did not blend very seamlessly into the Castlevania universe.
yeah.
Um, but it still looked great and it was a lot of fun to play.
Hmm.
But I played Hollow Knight
Oh,
in high school, and it's one of my favorite games ever.
Hollow Knight seems like a game I would love, but I just need
If
to
you
play
haven't
it.
played it, you
Yeah,
should.
I need to play Hollow Knight because it's very much in that like Metroidvania kind of style.
I would recommend buying it for the Switch because I have it for my computer. And I think I'm gonna buy it for my Switch because that's something that would be really. I really feel like it would be enhanced being able to take it
Yeah,
anywhere. Like that's like I have Undertale for my computer, but I think I'm gonna get the Switch one because there's the exclusive boss
yeah.
and it's just it's such a cute game and like why wouldn't you want to take that anywhere on a handheld console? Like
The Switch
that's
is
so
like,
cute.
I think the Switch is like, it definitely has like its charm to like old games, like specifically old games.
Mm,
Like it has that, like of course like Nintendo games are gonna look good on it, but like
right.
I don't know what it is about playing older games, especially like because I have the first two, three actually three Dooms, the first three Dooms on my Switch,
Very
and those are
nice.
like very fun to play on the Switch.
I bet. That
Yeah.
seems because it's such a I feel like that would use like all of the space on screen that you would want.
Hmm.
Like it's such an interesting like I remember when it was first released, everyone was like, it's a little small, you know, it's just a tablet with Joy-Cons. And like
Yo, but on Doom 2, fuck the Archviles. They can go eat. They can go eat shit and die.
Archviles are kind of like one of the toughest Doom like enemies though. Like
Yeah,
a real pain in the ass.
especially like even in like Doom Eternal, where it's like you
You
no
have
longer, for thank
oh
God, no longer like you just look at them and die. But even then, it's like they're like so annoying to fight because they just summon powered up demons and they power up everything in the room and they take an ungodly amount of like firepower to kill. Like every time I play, I always have to like strategize, and I think this is another reason why it's good. Like the gameplay, the level design is just so good, is because I have to strategize on how to kill this bitch. Just like having to have like the Slayer's sword,
mm,
make sure I have enough energy on that to kill it. Like I hate fighting them. I always throw
Doom
like the
Eternal is so
yeah,
much fun.
always throw out the ice bomb first to stop him in their place, and then I take out my crucible and I just kill him in one swipe. Like no, can't do it.
There's so many fun ways to play.
Yeah, there's Doom Eternal is like designed, like I will always say that it's designed perfectly. Like in terms of like the gameplay and level design, how they like interact. Like I think one of the perfect enemies to really like represent Doom in that kind of way is like the Arachnitron, because
Mm,
when you first start out, it's like a pain to like beat that thing, especially if you don't have the grenade launcher equipped as your first
yeah,
gun. For whatever reason, you do. Like if you don't have that, like it's
because
gonna be
you're
a
a noob.
yeah, because it's gonna be a pain. But the more you progress in that game, and the better you come at adapting to like enemy like attacks and all that, and like I think the weak point system is perfect. I think it's yeah, like
I
it's
think
such a
one
smart
time
yeah.
I used the semi-auto or the full auto
Mhm.
attachment for the shotgun over the grenade launcher.
The grenade launcher is just to me infinitely superior to the full
It's
auto.
just so much better. Like
Yeah,
everything about it is so much better. Like I'm sorry, but what? It's a shotgun.
yeah,
If they didn't go down like with the first one or get stumbled with the first one, then I'm already switching to a bigger weapon.
yeah. And like if I want a shotgun that has like a lot of power, I'm gonna switch to the super shotgun.
The super
The
shotgun,
super
yo.
shotgun with the grappling hook and all the like shenanigans you can pull with that.
Not the grappling hook
The
chainsaw like the
yeah, like there are times when I'm playing Doom Eternal just by myself, and I'm sitting there. I'm like, that was fucking cool.
It's too high octane.
Yeah, like I will like grappling hook for like one small enemy over to like one of those Mancubus, and I'll have like all my chainsaw, and I'll like shoot some guy next to him, killing him, and then I'll chainsaw the Mancubus, and I'm like, that was cool. And I'll do it like all in the air, and it's like that's so much fun. But yeah, enough of me both metaphorically and probably literally sucking off Doom Eternal. This
Right,
from
we've been talking about video games for so long. Weren't we talking about movies at
yeah,
some point?
we've been talking about movies at some point. Uh, so yeah, if you haven't watched Invincible, go watch it. That show is so good, like more than it has any
Definitely.
right to be. And then I had so much stuff lined up, and we just started talking about video games.
Right. Were there any questions to
Oh yeah, we did have some
like
questions. We'll run through questions real quick, 'cause there wasn't a whole lot from what I remember. We have from Anonymouse709. How is the Marvel universe looking so far? Good or bad? So far, I think where we're at right now, I think we're looking pretty good. Like with everything they have lined up, with everything they have like currently going on, the Marvel universe is like really on a good track.
Love and Thunder looks great.
Love and Thunder looks great. I'm always excited for
I'm
a new
excited for
Guardians
Black
movie.
Widow.
Mm,
Oh yes. Oh yes.
yeah. Uh, Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness sounds like it's gonna be amazing.
Very excited. I want behind the scenes stuff. Like I want like
I'm so happy that they
things to be
start.
released that they're working on it.
Yeah, I'm
But
so
like I
happy
know
that they.
it's
I'm so happy like after like the shows are done, they release like those episodes of like behind the scenes of like how they did all it, and they have like
right.
yeah. I
It's
feel like it's
pretty
such an
cute.
underrated part of them.
Like the making of Falcon and the Winter Soldier was
Hmm.
really.
Yeah,
Oh, speaking of which, Falcon and the Winter Soldier though.
yeah, like that was a good
What
show. Like
absolutely God tier. Like I really
I,
thought I
I've
think that might be
I
one of
did
my
not expect
favorite
it.
places the MCU has gone.
I did not expect it to be as good as it was. 'Cause I was like, oh, Falcon and the Winter Soldier, like, oh, this might be fun, and it's gonna be all right.
Miles
And it
better
was way
than
better than I expected it to be.
WandaVision.
Hmm.
Like I thought it was
WandaVision,
much better than WandaVision, and I liked WandaVision. I thought WandaVision was
WandaVision
really
got
good.
WandaVision got stuck in like it wasn't even its own fault. It just got stuck in the fans kind of theories and all that,
Yeah,
and it
Paul
kind of got
Bettany and
yeah,
Elizabeth Olsen were too good,
yeah,
and it got everybody thinking really, really hard. And
yeah.
it was one of those things where the formula is kind of what got ahead of itself.
I think once I like rewatched the ending after a while, I was like, this is like objectively like a good ending. Like it's
Hmm.
fine. But like when you like watch it in the moment, you might feel disappointed because you're like, oh, I wanted the X-Men or I wanted Pietro to be like the actual Quicksilver. And I think out
Right.
of the only problem I actually had with like the original ending when I saw it that I don't find valid anymore is like I wanted Quicksilver to be the actual Quicksilver from the X-Men universe.
Right. Like I feel like that's kind of a wasted opportunity because like they
Yeah.
opened that door with the recasting Pietro kind of thing,
I
but
I would have been completely happy with the
they
fact
never
if they would have
changed their names,
yeah.
man. They're still Maximoffs. So like,
I think it would have been
does Magneto exist? Does like
yeah, that's so weird that like I thought we were gonna at least get some kind of introduction to like a name drop to Magneto, a flashback, if you
because
will.
like they really kind of don't hit it on the head that they were products of experimentation, which
Yeah.
is exactly what they say in Age of Ultron.
And then yeah. I would have been happy with the ending if like oh, it was the real X-Men Quicksilver, but now he's got to go back to his universe so he can help them out there. And this is a one and done thing. I would have been fine with that.
Would have been cool. Yeah.
Yeah, like I would have
Yeah,
been
right. If they just acknowledge that they are separate, if they would just acknowledge each other at all, it'd be kind of neat.
like at least I would have been like, "Whoa, that was cool. Like we had him in there." But like now that he's just a boner, like yeah, funny joke, but like the payoff was not what I wanted it or nearly expected it to be.
I'm excited for all the new faces
Yeah.
coming into the MCU.
Yeah, because
Like
we're getting a lot of new characters in the MCU now.
like
I'm
for a while there, it was a lot of money being thrown at the same like 14 actors doing the same things, and it got a little it got really predictable for
yeah.
a while. It wasn't as enjoyable as I wanted it to
I
be, but I
think
feel like they're moving in a much more creative.
I think the
Uh,
one that I'm most kind of interested to see what they do with is Black Panther
mm,
because that's a very interesting situation that they have.
right.
Obviously with Chadwick Boseman not being able, him being gone, rest his soul. Like it's really interesting to see where they'll go with him as the Black Panther character.
There's a lot to
I
be
really,
done
yeah,
in the MCU there.
I really hope they like honor Chadwick, but like I know they will, but I just hope they honor him in some meaningful way.
I certainly hope so
Yeah,
too. I think he deserves that.
yeah, he really does.
Um,
I'm really interested in like what they'll do with T'Challa as a character because I think they said they're not going to recast him. I think I could be wrong.
as far as I know, they're not.
Yeah,
I know Michael B. Jordan has been cast in the next one, and that worries me a little bit for the plot because
Yeah,
I felt like Killmonger's story was kind of over.
yeah. Like he
And it
was
makes me
def.
wonder if they're gonna focus more on being tasteful to Chadwick Boseman than good to the MCU.
Yeah,
Like I worry that we're gonna see exactly what we want, a good Chadwick Boseman memorial in the new Black Panther, but I feel like we might see the same movie again.
I really hope. I really hope that they don't just kind of like have him die off screen or
Oh,
something like that.
that would be tough.
Like, like I kind of hope that they at least, if they're not going to use Black Panther T'Challa anymore, that we at least have his final arc in this movie.
Right, like
To
there
have,
deserves.
yeah, like his character
I think
deserves.
one more MCU funeral would be fine.
Yeah, like if we
It,
have, I feel like if we have a
it's okay.
satisfying if we have a satisfying conclusion to like his character, I would be okay with him like being replaced by like Shuri.
It's just really
But like
hard.
if we start off the movie as like Black Panther died in like some off-screen moment, and Shuri is now the Black Panther, like I'd be kind of like, well, I'd be kind of disappointed because I wanted to see at least another arc for him carried through, and a real arc this time, and not a fake one.
I'd understand it though.
Yeah, I would understand it, but I'd be kind of like, I feel like there are ways that like they could work around it, but yeah, it's definitely like I would kind of like It's still my most important thing is I just want to see Chadwick Boseman like honored because he did such a good job, like as not only as T'Challa, but like even like in other roles and in real life is just like a great human being.
It was a really, really special
Yeah,
comic book movie. Like
and even if
it was so well done.
even if I don't like Black Panther, or other people don't like Black Panther, you can still find a lot of value in that movie
So
because
much to appreciate.
of what it is and what it means to a lot of people.
Right,
Like
absolutely.
like you can't take that away, and if you try to take that away, that's really scummy.
Big time.
Yeah, like
Don't even.
yeah, like let people
It's like
enjoy let people enjoy what they want.
there was a Brickleberry, so like, uh Daniel Tosh kind of humor, you know.
Yeah.
Uh but like he was like, I thought Black Panther sucked, and it's like, whoa, why though? Like actually why? Like you might you might be a bigot because that movie was just pretty good. Like even if you don't appreciate the character, if you don't appreciate the things that that movie represents, if you're not there for it, it's still so good,
There's a weird
so
line.
good.
There's a weird line for specifically Black Panther criticism. Like there's objective like movie film criticism that you can make, and then there's like weird 13-year-old edge lord jokes that you make for it, and I just
Mm.
don't get it.
And there's nitpicking. Like,
Yeah.
now, what do
I
you mean
yeah,
by that?
like what? Like when people it feels weird to describe it. Like people who complain online like, "Oh, they're pandering to like these people," when it's like it's just a character who just so happens to be whatever they're complaining about, whether it be like
Right.
their race or their sexual identity. Like
It's
I
like
get,
Miles Morales being half black, half Mexican isn't
yeah,
important.
yeah,
It's
like
not really important. Like he's from New York.
yeah, like people who are
That's
like
the important
people who
part.
complain about them pandering to people, or
He's
like
not another white
that's
guy.
it's
That's the
something
important part.
I don't agree with. Like people who
Like
complain
he's a
about
superhero
pandering,
with
yeah,
pigment, and that's better. It's just better because I'm sorry, like we don't need another white superhero.
yeah, like
Like
to
it's
me, the race or gender of a superhero,
it's not the most important
yeah,
thing,
it's
but it
really
can
not.
definitely be a nail in the coffin for some people.
Yeah,
And for I think for anybody, I feel like because it can be
it
like
can be important. Yeah, I get why it's important to people. Like they want to see themselves represented, or they want to see a certain culture represented, or people represented. for like a lack of a better term. Like they want to see that represented on screen, and they want to see that they are valid, which I completely 100% understand.
Right.
Like if it was like if I had a choice, there would be already be a Hispanic superhero in the Marvel universe, but there isn't yet. But one day we'll get there.
It
You
is
know,
tough.
it is it like, but to me, someone
You know,
who's Hispanic, like seeing a Hispanic superhero would be really cool, and I would really like that. But it isn't always like my definitive what I want out of these superhero movies. I always want my priorities. Always, I want good characters. I want good writing. I want to feel something for them, their
yeah.
journeys and their arcs. But there definitely is like that sense of like, oh, we need there definitely is like a there should be more representation than just a bunch of white people.
I was like 9 years old when uh Dark Knight Rises came out.
Mhm.
And it bugged me so much that Tom Hardy was Bane, that it wasn't going to be an actual Spanish actor because
Yeah,
Bane had always been a Spaniard. Like had always like every single like movie, like animated movie that I had seen Bane in, it was always a Spanish actor.
yeah,
Like he always had a Spanish accent. Like he's just from Spain. Why have a white boxer play him? It doesn't make sense to me. It
yeah.
didn't make sense to me. And I like that was one of the first like times in a movie where I realized that it doesn't matter if like sometimes it doesn't matter if the artistic vision is better or and like that's why you should be upset if you feel like you're I don't know what word I'm looking for here.
Like your
If
if your identity, well, not identity.
if you
What?
feel like you're not being represented,
Yeah,
like if you feel like if there's a lack of representation
hmm,
for your culture, then or in that good light, then that's the time to be upset. Like whitewashing is stupid. It doesn't make any sense to me.
yeah,
Like have Japanese people come in and play Japanese characters. Stop having white people in makeup. It doesn't make sense. Like
yeah,
you wouldn't have a white person play a black character.
yeah. Exactly.
Like sometimes race is important. Sometimes it's important to celebrate differences. I'm sorry if you feel like it should if everybody should look the same. It's not how the world works. Not everybody looks the same. It's important. It's better that we look different. Are you kidding me?
I think especially in like these superhero movies,
Like
it's
it's
kind
not
of
that
important.
hard.
I feel like I feel like weirdly enough in superhero movies, the more diversity is kind of more like it's kind of more important.
Sometimes you can just have an Adam Eve character who
Yeah,
just, goes around finding herself, fixing problems in the world, and it's not a huge feminist ordeal. And other times you have every single female character in the MCU on screen at the same time.
that scene from Endgame was like,
It bugged me
yeah, it
really
bugged me
hard.
too.
I watched it in theaters in my head, like
The
that
scene, the
it
scene,
bugged me. It just
this
bugged me. Because it felt good. If it at one moment it felt good, and then it lingered, and then it really struck me and made me realize that
to
it was
me,
entirely Marvel sucking their own dicks. And
the whole time it felt like when that scene was happening, it felt like a room of like dudes just sitting there like, yeah, women's rights and like patting themselves on the back.
right, everybody just shook hands afterwards and was
Yeah,
like, "Great feminist ideal, Bill. Great feminist. I know.
woo!
Thanks, George." And it's like, y'all have what? What?
Like
Like, did
there's
a woman even approve this scene? Did a woman even say like this makes sense? Like, this
yeah,
is like it doesn't make sense. None of it makes sense. Like, all of these women can be better help dispersed throughout the rest of the battlefield. The same way everyone else is. This scene drags everything from the movie or from that scene. Like,
in sharp
I
contrast to that scene, the scene that does work is the scene from The Boys season 2 where I'm not even sure what name I would give this scene where it's like they're all beating up the Nazi girl.
yeah,
Yeah,
I was yes.
that's
Yes. Mm-hmm.
yeah, that scene. I guess you would call it "girls get it done" scene because that one guy, he's like, "Wow, I guess girls do get it done."
Yeah, and that's
The
like
whole
they own
season,
it a little bit.
yeah,
I feel like that's a response to
yeah,
the end game scene
the
though a
whole
little bit.
season 2 of like the boys, where it's like one of the themes is like they tackle like how corporates like take these like take feminist ideas and ideologies or like gay rights movements, and they just kind of satirize them for their
They're
own benefit.
using people's
Yeah,
ideals and their beliefs against them
yeah,
by showing them to them and pretending that they believe them.
yeah, exactly.
Like
I really
it's
like
like
that.
every corporation becomes gay on Pride Month.
Yeah, like I really like
Like you
that.
see that meme 100 times this month, and like you absolutely should, because
Most companies don't
corporations and
care.
these things, like, right, they shouldn't, because why should they care? They should be indifferent. They should fucking give you a job because you're the right person for the job. It shouldn't matter if you're gay, black, fucking white. It doesn't matter. It shouldn't matter. And the
Yeah,
problem is that it unfortunately does to a lot of corporations, to a lot of people it
because
matters.
corporations they just want numbers, they want money, like that's their thing. Like I can't blame them for that, but like the way they go about it is just really scummy.
And people aren't numbers. And when people start becoming numbers,
Yeah, yeah,
we invade Germany.
yeah. And that just came from one question, so
I'm sorry.
we just went off somewhere else.
I was gonna say, like, when we were still talking about Chadwick Boseman, that like that is a really good question, because there's a lot of matter of perspective
Yeah,
for how the MCU is doing right now, because like
I feel like no
there's
matter what
people really
happens,
excited for Black Widow, there's people who are like, well, what's the point?
yeah,
And
I
there's people who are here for Loki that are really excited for Tom Hiddleston, and there's people like James who are like, I kind of couldn't care less.
and then there's people who are correct, like me. I'm just kidding. Yeah, but yeah, the Marvel universe is looking good. I just yeah, so far. And then we have another question by Sandra Soupy. It says, if Disney made another villain movie, who would be the ideal villain, and would do you have a backstory for it? And I kind of want to use
Oh,
this as
so
a yeah, because
like Cruella.
Like Corella came out recently.
Ugh,
I I
I
kind of
haven't
I
watched it. I don't want to watch it.
I don't want to watch it either, but I kind of want to make fun of it.
Right? It's like I kind of want to like
But I don't want to support
watch
this
it.
movie because like then we're gonna get more movies like it.
I want to like drink a lot and then watch it.
Yeah. So like these movies like
Ursula.
Urs yeah,
I want Ursula's backstory. That woman seems like somebody hurt her along. Like how'd you get the tentacles, love?
yeah.
Were you always just a sea witch? Did like
I feel like
Poseidon do
yeah.
some nasty stuff to you? Like what happened,
I
girl?
feel like the concept of like these Disney villain backstories aren't actually that half bad of an idea. It's just
Mm.
that they're executed in the worst, most boring way possible.
But also, they're the villain. Why humanize them in that way? Why give
Some
them
yeah, some
the
villains
the
don't need to be humanized. Like
it's
no,
like Jafar's a
Jafar is just
really
an evil
creepy
guy.
dude, man. Like
Jafar is
you
just
wouldn't
yeah,
humanize Frollo for like near raping Esmeralda.
yeah.
Like Hunchback of Notre Dame is a terrifying story. Like so many of these Disney stories are terrifying when you really think of them.
I would
Like the
almost
live action Beauty and the Beast.
oh
Like
my
Emma
goodness.
Watson's great, but like that movie's hard to like enjoy because when it's not animated, there's more reality to it,
Yeah.
you know?
I feel like everything with that live action Beauty and the Beast remake is just awful and I can't stomach watching it. Again, like I
The
cannot
music's good.
I can't I don't know. I don't even know if I would say that. Actually no, you're proud.
I don't know, man. I mean, you watched Aladdin and I couldn't finish that, but I watched Beauty and the Beast with a couple of friends in theaters.
You know what movie actually butchered the original music?
Hmm.
That Lion King remake.
Yeah, I didn't watch that one either.
That I don't even know if you've seen the original like they've seen Be Prepared from the live action remake. I was so mad about that. He literally just says the words, like he's just talking. Doesn't even sing.
Ooh. Ooh.
Like he doesn't even sing until like probably like the last 13 words. I was so
Ooh.
upset about it.
Ooh, a really good. Actually, well, no, because you get his origin story in the song.
Yeah.
Because I just saw a clip of Hugh Jackman performing Gaston,
Hmm.
and I was like, that was too damn good. And then that question made me think about like Gaston's origin story, but like,
Gaston
I mean,
doesn't.
he
I don't know.
tells you, and
I
he
don't
tells you in the song, when I was a child, I ate 3 dozen eggs. It's like you're a freak.
know.
You're a freak of nature.
Who eats 3 dozen eggs as a child?
Now I'm roughly the size of a bar. Just like, oh my God, dude.
Dude, who needs to be that big?
Like, that's not just muscle, bud. That's like sodium and
You have a
like,
medical problem if you're the size of a barge.
bro,
I think you need to go hang out with like God's creatures underneath the ocean.
like the amount of strength you need to just carry your body does not make you strong.
If I think it'd be I kind of thought about like an interesting like backstory for Scar because I just thought about that, but I don't even know if Scar would like kind of justify his needing one
Right?
because you
Like,
kind of already understand who he is. Like
man's just like second born, jealous.
yeah, like
But
this is
like
I
a
think
like Mufasa kind of like young thing, that would be kind of
I
cute.
think you could make it work, but like is it 100% necessary? No, but I think you could make it work. Like you could make it show like how him and his brother got distant, like why he feels this way, what event happened. Like you could do that.
Like, I just don't know. Like, see, and like villains, like being, like, I don't know what villain I want more of, Because like I get the like the one Slayer, the Grinch, I guess, like
Hmm.
for the Lorax and like because like Jim Carrey made everybody fall in love with the Grinch. They made them like because like even before the movie came out, like you were in love with him because he's kind of
Yeah.
adorable. Like if you're an adult, you're like, yeah, I understand. Like
Have you
Christmas is a loud day.
have you seen the interview with him where he's on like the Sonic movie cast and
Oh my God.
he's like, oh yeah, and then, like kids would come up to me and be like, that's the Grinch, and he did that face with
Does
all the
the
makeup,
face?
yeah, without the makeup
It's
on,
so, oh my
and
God.
then
Jim
he
Carrey is something else.
and then he just sits back, relaxes, and he's like, oh yeah.
Like Jim Carrey is the alien that came to this planet and gave us octopi.
He
Nice
is the
callback there.
octopus leader, and he taught them how to pick up boxing gloves and throw a punch.
He's so wild.
He is absolutely a different
So
breed.
talented.
But yeah, what are we doing on time? Oh, we are an hour and 42. That is the questions we had, and I think we could save the rest of all the other topics for another video, but I think we could call it there. I really like what we did so far.
All
So,
right.
unfortunately, Will is still unconsciously riding around doing donuts in my front yard, so I might have to go save him in a bit. But yeah,
Yeah. We're supposed to talk that long. He's
yeah,
probably gonna need to
yeah, he
trip to
might,
the hospital.
yeah, he might need a trip to a hospital, might
Boy.
collapse. But yeah, with that being done, I think we can call it a wrap. So
Thank you so much for having me, man.
no problem. Thank you for being on, man. I really enjoy
Absolutely.
doing these. But yeah, if you guys have any questions, leave them in the comments or ask me on social media. I'm definitely gonna leave a link to both mine and David's social media in the description. Make sure to go follow us. And yeah, that being said, you guys have a nice day.